Hello and welcome to the Red Couch Podcast. My name is Ben Harrietha. This week on the podcast, it's our fashion episode. And who better to have on the episode than the folks behind the fashion design year-end program, year-end show, Unbound, Jacqueline Bradica, Maggie Breckles, and Jessica Houston. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Thank you guys for coming on. This is the first time we've shot with actually like multiple guests. Usually it's just me and one other person. So this is actually like really exciting.
Amazing.
Yeah, having three people. We have so many people that I'm not even on the couch. Usually I'm on the couch.
I'll take your spot.
Yeah. Usually I'm right here.
Sorry.
So could you guys just introduce yourself to the viewers, listeners at home?
So my name is Maggie Breckles. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm lead of event committee.
And I'm Jacqueline Bradica. My pronouns are she, they, and I am one of the leads of the marketing committee for Unbound.
My name is Jessica Houston. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the lead of creative content.
Perfect. And first question, I'm just going to ask, what, as the leads of each of the committees respectively, what did you guys do in Unbound? Like, what was your role? What did it entail? What did you guys do? And any one of you can start, however you're feeling.
Okay, so I'll start. So basically for marketing, my team has essentially been in charge of getting things ready for anything like PR related. And we also create and curate content for our Unbound Instagram page. So please follow Unbound Fashion to actually, follow us up to the show, and you'll get to see all the goodies on there. So we have been working with some business students on working on making posts and that sort of thing for the Instagram. That's like one of the big things that we do, that PR, and just like a number of other marketing related tasks that are related to Unbound. My committee is the one who takes care of that. So that's kind of all the marketing,
All the goodies for marketing.
All the goodies for marketing for your stuff and for your stuff. So one of you should jump in.
Okay, so I'm lead of event committee. So we take care of everything that has to do with event. So that includes photo shoots, runway, literally anything. So we're pretty much set up that we wanted to have the event at 100 Kellogg's Lane, and we're like getting that all set up. We just went there the other day, and we pretty much looked at the event space and really planned it out and marked it out. So we take care of all of that. We take care of our models, making sure that they're always like hydrated, that there's food for them at all of the fittings and everything like that. So yeah, it's really what an event does. All the event planning.
But yeah, you guys plan absolutely everything. If there is something Unbound related that's an actual event, this committee is.
Even if it has to do with like our stuff for marking, like our fittings and everything, that's always like us and like stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm creative content, and we have had quite a few big projects. One of them is we did like little Instagram reels for everyone in the class. There were 16 of us, so that was quite a big job. We've also done like a teaser trailer video for the fashion show and for our film that we were making, as well as we have a magazine that we've been working on too. We have all of the creative control of everything physically created.
And is the magazine new for this year, for this year of Unbound?
Oh, it's been happening for quite a few years, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, we do have a digital magazine every year, and then it used to be like way back. It used to always be print, but you guys had sustainability reasons. We very much, it's a digital magazine. So you guys had the extra fun of creating like the digital layout, like the layout for a digital magazine, which is a little bit different than print. There's always a different approach. So.
But I think we are getting some printed.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just a few to hand out like at the show.
At the show, exactly.
Kind of just for us to have, I think.
But, digital is always fun because we can share it so far and wide. Too.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Send it anywhere.
I mean, we like in Terrabank, we print physically and we also put out everything digitally. So it's like same boat because you're right. It is way easier to put out your digital content out there, and when you have a fashion show that is promoting sustainability, it does. I think it would almost be. I don't want to be like hypocritical.
Yeah, it would be out of alignment with Unbound.
To print a bunch of magazines.
Exactly.
People might just end up throwing away.
Exactly.
And the stuff they print magazines on is so like plasticky and bad for
That's
Yes.
very interesting because the paper we picked is actually straw paper to be a little
really?
more sustainable. Even though they are being printed, it's just that extra step that we could go.
That's super cool though. That's wicked. So did you guys like pick your roles as the committee leaders, or were you like assigned them?
So we were asked if like there was a specific committee that we would be interested in, and we were also asked if we would be interested in being leads. So everyone did send in, their requests.
I actually didn't get told. I was just told to be event lead.
Yes, like you.
So I was a bit caught off guard, but
Yes,
okay.
and
I was happy that I could do it.
Yes, exactly. So I think some of us volunteered for that, but then I think other people were very much seen as if no one had actually volunteered to be a lead
It would be
position.
a good
Yeah,
position.
yeah, like you were flagged as being someone who would be a good leader. So yeah, so you got chosen.
And Maggie, this is actually a question for you. So what made you said 100 Kellogg Lane was where the show was going to be? What made that location stand out to you guys?
So the professors were actually talking about where we all originally were like, we do not want it at the school. We wanted it somewhere where it was actually legit. And we're all super excited because, like, yes, COVID's still a thing, but like we wanted it to be somewhere where like we all just felt like it was us and stuff. So
I think because especially we were the class who started in
In COVID.
2020. Like COVID had already started. And so we have spent a lot of time online and then otherwise in campus, it was quite a ghost town actually.
there was nobody here that I lived in res and there was nobody anywhere.
Yes.
And it was just like very high school vibe here.
Yeah. And so I think with like the excitement that we had the opportunity to do something off campus, we kind of all as class went, that would be amazing.
Yeah, God, please get me out of here.
Literally.
It would be amazing. Yeah.
And then the teacher, like our professors found it type thing. And then we said, we're going to go look at it. And then right when we all got into the room, everyone was like, we want to do it here. It's going to be so cool. So then we like ended up just picking Kellogg's and knew it was like spot. Nobody had disagreed with it.
Yeah.
So we were all in agreement and we just thought the space was super like, we're in the industrial room. So it's a super like organic-y feel, like look, and like everyone here for it.
Yeah, I can relate to the wanting to get off campus. I did all my schooling during COVID. I was graduating class of 2022.
Yeah.
And,
so you know exactly the feeling.
oh my God, yeah. And like I was in M building, and it's like total ghost town.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's crazy because sometimes you do have to be on campus for certain things.
You do.
And like I was in broadcast journalism, so we'd have to be, recording live in the studio. And you're right, it was like it's really eerie to like walk around like in a massive college campus and there to just be no one.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
So,
There was like 3 people in our res building literally last year. I mean, first year. Like it was ghost town first year for all of us. Like now it's better, but like.
Well, even like as a group, we didn't really know each other till second year. We the whole first year at home didn't know anyone. We're so in at our houses, like watching videos on
Literally.
Second year, we kind of got to know everyone, and then third year, it's really like everyone's found their groove with everyone. Everyone kind of
knows who their people are type thing, and
Yeah.
it's really great that like we opened back up right in third year, because I think is that the last year of the
It is.
graduating.
Yeah, and so that's like huge for you guys to be able to work together in person, physically on something as big as Unbound is.
Absolutely. I actually think it would be extremely difficult,
God,
like
I'd have to imagine.
yes, otherwise. So, I'm very thankful for that.
So am I.
Yeah. That face-to-face communication.
Thank God.
Yeah.
So this next question actually comes from one of our reporters, Johan, and he just wanted you guys to go in on the theme for this year, just kind of give a little bit of an explanation of the theme, where it came from. So let's start with Jessica, if you can maybe answer the question on that.
Absolutely. So Lauren, our lovely leader, our teacher, she as soon as like our Unbound's done, she thinks of the next one. So it started with Lauren. She was on the ocean, and she had thought of the idea of One Love, and it LGBTQIA plus.
So I think what you're trying to say is that Loren got a lot of inspiration from her time like being on the ocean, and she really started thinking about water protection, because Unbound always has multiple things that they focus on. It's sustainability, and there's always a social impact as well. So sustainability wise, she was really starting to think about water and like what we can do and what we can do to promote that. And essentially, this was sort of, I know she was thinking about this. And then when she comes to us, and so she teaches us in first year.
Yeah.
And then we actually don't see her at all during second year. And we then see her in third year.
Mm-hmm.
So when all of a sudden she now meets back up with us in the fall, starting of our third year, she starts seeing what designers are starting to do and where they're sort of like they're going with things. And in there, we had a number of designers and collections that were exploring gender inclusive design. And, you know, from that sort of sparked the idea of like, well, the social messaging could very much be, you know, LGBTQ plus related and talking about gender fluidity specifically in fashion. So it sort of became this combination of gender fluidity and water protection under the One Love banner for the theme. So it's all kind of this big collaborative. We're almost like this group that sort of like things bounce between us, and the theme ends up coming up a bit organically because you kind of change things as the semester's going on to like refine it, and that's what we ended up landing on, and it felt like a very good fit for the designers. Yeah.
Now that was it. You talked about you talking about that, and then it got watched to me.
I know.
I'll be honest, I'm picking people we're red. Yeah. I'm just like, we'll go with Maggie for this next question, you know, like, and anyone could pick up this next one.
Sure.
And so you spoke on, you know, incorporating the gender neutrality and water and like, protecting like water and stuff. How are the designers incorporating that into their designs of the clothing?
Sure. So, I mean, there's certain designers. I mean, I think we have a number of designers that are, myself included, who are doing gender inclusive collections. So that on that side of things is definitely one of them. And we also, the way we cast our models as well. We had an open casting call because we're all about showcasing real people. We very much want to move away from that sort of fashion aesthetic that has been around for so many years. So we've actually cast like real people as our models. And it was basically like it was open to anyone to come. So
Like all body sizes, ages, like diversity we wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Over 100 people actually show up to opening cast.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And we were
It was
like
really
so scared that we
successful.
were literally gonna have nobody, and we literally had like 107.
It's like marketing did well enough over here that
exactly.
So there's that. And then I would say designers as well for the water protection element and just sustainability as a whole. Designers do different things. So sometimes it's sourcing things like dead stock fabric, which is fabric that's left over from when other, you know, companies have made things. So you're then not buying brand new fabric that has had new water like being used in that manufacturing process, because textile manufacturing is a huge like water pollutant in a lot of ways, and it's something that we very much need to look at as designers. So people are either looking at where they can source their fabric more sustainably, maybe they're buying dead stock fabric, or we have a number of people who have done like upcycling and remanufacturing. So they have thrifted garments, completely torn them up at the seams, and just they are making their collections from
And like
scratch.
sometimes it's even like so literally like one of our designers, Sophie, hers is like literally based like of like water in like undersea type stuff. So it's like literally
She took her inspiration from like underwater, and like animals.
So
And
like
it's
super cool.
yeah. So all designers have such a different way of like interpreting the theme, and everyone has approached it differently. So there's 16 different voices who have like in entirely different ways we've approached this. So it's
Pretty cool.
I think it's pretty wicked, like how something like Unbound and the other shows that the fashion design program puts on, how like it's able to, you said, you know, 16 different voices, 16 different interpretations of the theme. It's just really cool to see how it's like even in just the clothes themselves, you're like seeing that diversity that you guys are trying to promote.
Yeah,
It's really cool because it's like, you know, there it is. There's just a diversity of ideas of how people are looking at the theme of one love and water protection and all that stuff, and being like, well, okay, how can I do this?
Exactly.
Like, what can I take? What am I taking from that, and what am I putting in? You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
I've got no idea how fashion design works, but at least from like an outside perspective, it just seems very cool, and that seems how it's working. It's wicked.
Yes.
So how many parts make up Unbound? Because I know Unbound is not just the fashion show. There's like a lot of other stuff that goes into Unbound.
So I guess I'll start.
Yeah.
So from creative content's perspective, we have a film and a prelude, which is like a trailer film. So that's a big part of it. We also, my group takes care of a magazine, where in the magazine, everyone gets a 2-page spread of their designs, as well as we have, in this year's edition, we've actually collected testimonies and little messages from people either about LGBTQIA, body diversity, and body positivity. And they're just like little messages throughout the magazine. We also have some group photos as well in there. And we also, this is one of my favorite parts of the magazine, is that we've taken photos of everyone's collection and we're actually going to put them, like organize them together to build the rainbow.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then also another part that I love is that the side tabs, we're not doing numbers. It's going to be rainbow. So if, like, for instance, Jackie, your color is going to be red. So you go to the red tab to find you instead of, we're going to build the rainbow inside the magazine.
Everything's very like connected for us. Cohesive.
Yeah.
Like we're in such a creative environment in this program that we at Unbound, we really have so much flexibility for us as students to actually really direct the way that
Like we're leading it all.
and you know our teachers support us in this and help us make this vision come to life. So it's really neat when we are passionate about these things, about like we've got these little bits in the magazine, these little details,
The little things.
it all ties in for us.
Oh, it all counts, right? Because I feel like that gives like you said, cohesive. Like people can look at this year's Unbound and be like, everything fits together.
Yes.
It all works.
Yes.
And this next question, I'll start with you, Maggie, for this one. How much work goes into the Unbound show?
A lot. Like a lot. And it's like overwhelming because like we go to the event space and like we're trying to also figure out like how each individual thing is being set up and laid out. So like literally the other day we were there and we were trying to figure out how big we wanted the runway and how, and like each like kind of whatever. But like it's a lot, and it's a lot just like figuring out not only the actual space of where the show is happening, but like every little thing to it, like the models and like the fittings and the photo shoot. So there's a lot, and it's
so many moving pieces.
It's so many moving pieces to like to have a big thing at the end that everybody's excited and happy for, and everybody's happy with how it went. So,
and because it's not just like a last semester thing, right? It's like an entire your third year is entirely devoted to planning on Unbound. Pretty much.
First semester, you're figuring out your aesthetic through everybody. Like you have workshops you're doing, and then right when it hits second semester, it's completely like grind time. You're like pushing, like you're figuring out, okay, these are the fabrics you're using, this and that. So
we start some of the show planning a little bit in the prior semester, but then we actually move into our committees in the second semester. And which means that really that committee planning only happens in a couple months before showtime, which is, it's a lot.
That's a crunch,
and it goes so fast.
It goes very fast.
We literally have 2 weeks, like crazy.
Yeah, I imagine. And what was the most fun about planning it?
I think honestly, like getting our voices, having a say in everything, I think that was one of my favorite bits, is because sometimes like in previous schooling, it's like, okay, here's the idea. Now you do this, you do this, you do this. And it's like, we actually got a voice of, no, we want the rainbow tabs. We want the rainbow competition. You know what I mean? Like we actually get what we want, and the teacher lets us like have that creative.
Yeah, we get to explore, you know, like we don't just get to explore our collections and our designs. We actually get to explore how to plan a runway show, a portfolio event, a magazine, and that creative exploration in that sphere. I think I fully agree with you. It's actually very exciting because I didn't I didn't almost realize how much of that we would be able to do, which was really cool to be able to do that.
And like seeing like how everybody's designs have come into like play in their aesthetics and everything, and like seeing everybody, not only yourselves come to life, but like other designers, like who are your friends and stuff. Like it's crazy seeing, and it's like so exciting.
And on the flip side of that, what was the hardest part about planning the show?
It's the balance.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's the balance. It's the amount of work that goes into the show planning, but also the amount of work that then we're literally constructing our collection at the same time. So trying to go through your week to week and going, okay, I need to get this huge amount of things done, and how do I fit that in and make sure that I'm also like sleeping and eating and all that sort of thing. So I would say that's probably the hardest part, is that you get very excited about everything, but at the same time, you need to learn how to have a proper balance, which is a good skill for going forward in life for sure. But it's tricky when you're in it. It can feel overwhelming at times. I would say that's probably the hardest part. Yeah.
Planning, doing all that stuff, but then also having your own
switching of the hats.
Yes, your designer cap to your like marketing, to your event, to your creative, like it's all.
Yeah, we're not just like fitting in one role, because we still have to be designers at the end of the day on this, but at the same time,
you're learning how to do all those roles so that when it comes to the real world, you can see what job you want.
Exactly.
So.
Because you might fall in love with like literal fashion show planning, and that might be the way that you want to go,
The route,
Yeah. So we kind of get to dabble in everything. So it's hard, but it's also
it's manageable.
It is.
You learn to find that balance really fast.
Yeah, you do. So.
I imagine once you get into that second semester, it's just like 4 months of nonstop, like go.
Oh yeah,
it is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Are you guys excited for it to be like kind of, we're done?
So it's like yes, we absolutely are, but at the same time, every time I think about it, I almost cry.
Same. I cried already.
Yeah.
I'm like getting emotional.
I know that a little bit, because we're a tight-knit group. There's, as much as it's like, wow, there's 16 of us and 16 voices we need to showcase, we're only 16.
And like we're friends. Like we go to school and we like these people have become like my best friends now, and like it's crazy.
Yeah, and throughout the years now have been kind of hyping each other up
and watching each other grow.
Like it's amazing to look back at like what our very first sketches looked like.
Wow, and like
in first year versus now, and so it's exciting to be done, because I think we're all tired and we just want to sleep. But at the same time, I think it's like we're gonna just turn around and go, oh my goodness, like one of like the most amazing things that
times in our lives.
It's like it's done. So yeah,
it'll be worth it.
Yes, the show's gonna be so much.
It's gonna be great. I'm so excited.
And one more question, just before we move on to our little lightning round that we do in all our podcasts now. No. This one's from Justin. He's another reporter of ours. If there's anything you could change about this year's show, what would it be?
I guess I can start.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I think I would, if like a second year now, if I was giving them advice, I would say have a big open like conversation, because I know what's going on in creative. I don't always know what's going on in these two committees. So having that big discussion,
like a designated time that like all leaders get together with and like discuss kind of what went down in their group discussion, I think would be super helpful, because communication gets lost so easily, and it's so hard to keep tabs on everybody and like keeping up with it.
Absolutely. Because I think so we do have time where we as committees each present to each other of like the work that we had done throughout the week and all the updates on things. However, because fashion is the way it is, things move and change really quickly. So sometimes even that from like, we do that every week, but from week to week, like in between, there's like 6 different changes that happen. And I think sometimes it can be difficult that you can feel like something will change for creative content, as an example. And then they're going, hey guys, we actually need this information from you. And we're like, what is this for? And it's because this has happened 3 days after our presentations and something has changed. So I think having almost like just a little half hour touch base with like the whole class,
Something like a little bit more casual.
Something more casual, something a little bit less formal, I actually think would be like really amazing. I know it's hard to probably fit that in, if there are any second years watching this, but
make time for
make time for it. I
would
think
be so worth it in the end.
Perfect.
Good answer.
What a great note to end it on.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we had.
That's what we
Awesome.
got.
So thank you guys for coming on the podcast. It's been super fun. Really fun having 3 people on the couch. It's been like, energy's been great. And thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Red Couch Podcast. As always, you can catch up with every episode on our website or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And be sure to subscribe to our newsletter to keep up with all things Fanshawe. Pick up your copy of the Interrobang on newsstands now. And for the Interrobang, I'm Ben Harrietha.